And we are off. Okay.
Good morning, everybody. And if you are online with us today, then you know that we are the Profitable Salon Owner, and we are the business resource for Vagaro Salon Software, that we are so excited to be representing them and working with them, because what an amazing company. They have really set a standard in online services for the salon spa industry.
Yes.
And of course, the Profitable Salon Owner, our motto is, ta-da!
We get salon owners profitable fast.
Fast, really fast.
And whether you are an individual, you're still an owner. You are running your own business. So you have to think of yourself always as a company.
You got it.
So that's our mandate. So here's a little peek at us. We changed our picture, by the way, this time.
Yes, it's because it was really getting out of date. Now, I do want to caution everybody. You see the third glass of wine in there? It's not Catherine's.
No.
There was somebody else who actually took the picture. So, yeah, we do like a glass of wine occasionally.
Yeah, we thought we would just throw in a different picture. A little less serious.
So, yeah, so there we are. And today's topic is the art of consultation, because we believe that if you do this correctly, it will completely change your business. It will change your income levels.
Absolutely.
It will change everything up for you.
And, you know, I'm sure everybody thinks that they are currently doing a good consultation, and you probably are. But we just want to bring it out and see, is there more that you can do, and can you do it better?
Well, you know, I gotta say, Kath, you and I call on a lot of salons, and how often, and we see a lot of client exchanges within the interactions within the salon. We see first-time clients coming in, and we see second-time clients coming in. But one of the things that we do not see on a regular basis is a good or great consultation. In fact, I think that it is a skill that is rarely practiced in the salon. So if you are not focusing on your consultation, I think today is going to really change up how you take a look at the consultation.
Absolutely. So here we go. So
in the end,
I love this.
Yes.
Because truly, it is not how many clients you have. It's what you do with them that counts. Now, what do we mean by that, Eileen?
Well, here's the thing. And of course, you know, we are definitely in a changing, not only in a changing economy, we're in a changing industry. How clients are coming to see us, how many times a year they're coming to see us, the services that we're offering. It is changing so fast, you know. So, and what we hear from almost everywhere we go is that clients are spreading out their visits. So instead of seeing clients 8 times a year, you know, sometimes we're only seeing them 4 or 5 times a year. So what that means is that now, instead of, say, having a roster of 250 clients that would have earned you a really good living, you need to have like 350 clients.
Yeah, you need more clients.
You need a lot more clients. So here's the thing is, if you can change your average ticket price to a higher amount of dollars, you don't have to necessarily bring in more clients if you're getting more dollars from the ones that you have.
Absolutely. And retention then becomes critical. You know, so I really believe that consultation is where everything starts in your journey with your client. If you fail at the consultation component, the chances of you losing that client are so much higher than if you do a really great, thorough consultation right in the beginning.
You know, one of the things, in fact, we were in a salon last week, Kath, and we asked the salon owner, what's your average ticket price?
Mm-hmm.
And what was her response?
Oh, I can't tell you that. I don't know. You know, it depends on what the person has done.
And I really hate to say this, people, but this is the kind of response that we get pretty regularly. So one of the homework assignments for you today is to figure out what your average ticket price is. And how you do that is a really
Well, it's simple, but Vagaro makes it really easy for them.
Exactly. You've already got the program there.
Yeah, you can actually go on and get that report from Vagaro.
Right. And
check it regularly.
Check it regularly, because what we want you to focus on today is making some goals in increasing your average ticket price. So for example, if your average ticket price is $125, how do we get it up to, say, $250?
Yeah, or if you don't, maybe that's a big jump for you, but every $5 increment that you raise your average ticket price by, it means you have to bring in less clients to make the money that you need. And so we're going to really focus on your consultations taking it to an art form so that you do it all the time. And if you've listened to Eileen and I before, you know that a phrase that we use all the time is inconsistency is the enemy of quality. And so when we talk about this, we're talking about a consistent process that you follow with every client. Exactly.
So again, systemize. And one of the things that we want to point out to you today, can you go back to that previous slide?
I sure can.
Because you look so hard for this picture to put on our presentation today, because one of the first things we want to tell you about the consultation is that it should be sitting down, looking eye to eye with your client.
Absolutely.
And because again, one of the things we see is
when I see this all the time, you may bring the client over, sit them in your chair, and then you stand behind them
and look at them in the mirror.
Talk to them through the mirror.
Yeah.
Very bad habit, extremely bad habit. It's much nicer to come around in front and be eye level with your client, or slightly lower than your client. So pump the chair up a little bit and be slightly lower than your client. It's all to do with psychology, and it's just a really good rule of thumb to always remember. And you know what? Cutting stools are really inexpensive, and they're critical, I think, in having in creating that eye-to-eye response to your client. And here's the other thing too, is if you also learn to use a stool within your service, it also helps you create a more ergonomic safety rules for your own protection. So your own health.
We really believe in stools.
So sitting down, that's the first thing we want to tell you about consultations. It's where you do it is important.
And the second thing that it's not shown here, but I think is really important, is to have a board with a questionnaire, clipboard. Thank you. That's what you call those things. Yeah. What do you call those things?
I knew you were struggling with that, Eileen. A clipboard.
A clipboard that has a form that is consistent, that you're going to use with every single client, the same questions, right? And there's a reason for that, because first of all, let's go to the next slide.
The why.
The why, because I think that will answer.
Okay, so the why. Why do a consultation?
Well, let's face it.
Like a good consultation.
Like why do it?
Why do a good consultation?
Because the consultation is your first interaction with a new client. And this is where you build the greatest trust and relationship. Because in the end, it is always about relationships. People will forget what you said. People will forget what you sell them, but they will never forget how you make them feel. And the consultation is the beginning of that. If you make them feel great and you can show them the reason why they're going to trust you, you are going to have this client for a long, long time. And one of the reasons that we want you to get into learning how to take consultation to a higher art form is because if you can put a fence around your client, again, you don't have to continually look for new ones.
You're not on the hunt for new clients all the time. I mean, we're always open to take a new client, but if you have to hunt for them continually, there's something wrong. There's ways to get them in, referrals and everything else, but the consultation is the most critical component in everything you do, because it's the basis for everything that's going to go there after.
You get to show off your skills in the consultation, because the first thing you're doing in a good consultation is showing your client how much you care about them, how important it is to hear what they have to say.
So one of the first things I put up here was show me the money, because I truly believe that if you really get good at this, this is where your income starts to increase.
You got it. In fact, we have seen this over and over again. You know, Kath and I really believe in the 80-20 rule, which says that 20% of the producers make 80% of the money. And we see this
time and time again,
everywhere we go. And if you even look at the industry in general, the ones that are bringing in the biggest dollars are the ones that have taken consultation to an art form.
Yeah. And, you know, just by being on this call tells us that you are willing to learn and willing to listen. So you want to be in that top 20%. So let's help you get there.
You got it.
If you're not already there, let's help you get there.
And if you're already in the top 20, let's get you in the top 5%, because every single time you do a consultation, you have the opportunity to improve the service that you're offering to your clients.
And truly, if I see mistakes being made and clients unhappy, you know, I've had my own business for many, many, many years. And usually when there's a problem, it all links back to the very beginning, and it all links back to the consultation.
Because we have misunderstood or used misdirection in creating what the client wants. You know, so often the kind of consultations we hear from stylists and their clients is, well, you know, what are we going to do today, Mrs. Smith? And it says, well, you know, I was thinking maybe just take an inch off the back, and okay, great, here we go. Well, you know, is an inch to Mrs. Smith the same inch to you? You know, so we get an opportunity to completely head off the mistakes that we might make within the service. So that's number one, because mistakes cost you money, don't they? If someone has to come back for a redo,
for sure,
that's costing you money, right?
So let's try and get everything out and understand it all before we even pick up a pair of shears, take them back to the basin to wash their hair, whatever you have to do. I think that this is where we can really nail a great service.
And again, we manage their expectations. And of course, what we mean by that is, we were talking about this, some of the unrealistic things that clients come in and ask you for, right? They've got 3 hairs on their head, and they want, you know, that Jennifer Aniston hairdo, or they've got.
But you know what? Here's the thing: they may, like Jennifer Aniston's hair, but oftentimes they really they want to look like Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah.
So you know, if somebody brings a picture and take white out of a celebrity, take white out and white out their face, and then let them see what the hairstyle looks like, because oftentimes that's what they're looking for. They're looking to look more like that celebrity.
Exactly. So here's the opportunity to be able to say, all right, you know, you have a level 1 hair and you want to be a level 10 blonde. Well, let's really take a look at that. Is that really going to happen?
Yeah. And you know what the process involved in even starting to do that.
Right. So a good consultation allows us to manage the expectations of the client.
And then the other component that I feel is so critical with the consultation is if we take the time now to really listen to our clients, the client then feel like we heard them.
Yes.
And we hear that time and time and time again. I've heard that from, you know, friends that have gone to new stylists, and they said, you know, oh, I just feel they didn't listen to me. They were rushed, blah, blah, blah. And that sets the tone for the rest of the visit and for the, you know, maybe a shortened lifespan of the client.
Exactly. And by the way, whether you're a stylist or an anesthetist, the consultation is extremely important, because
same.
Even, in fact, I really believe that the anesthetist can truly drive their service and their business by having an exceptional consultation.
Absolutely.
I've seen some real pros in the aesthetic industry, and I often think, oh, if only we could, you know, capture that and really take it over into the salon side, because estheticians seem to often have nailed it. Maybe because of the you know, when you're working on a face and the product's going right on the skin, it changes things, right?
Well, it does. But again, you know, in the aesthetic world, we still have the same problem, like people skipping over consultation. So everything we're talking about here, it's hard to do both in the one webinar, but everything we're talking about here can be applied to any aspect of the salon and spa industry. So don't just think because we're talking stylists that's the only people we're talking to here.
Yes, you are not excused if you're an esthetician.
Yes. So stay on because you will learn.
Yes. The how. Yeah. Okay, so the how is really, really important, because how do we get started doing a consultation? Because up till now, the consultation has been kind of I'm going to just say in general here, the consultation has been far more like a 5-minute thing, you know, like, hi, how are you? You know, what are you looking for? Yeah, we can do that or whatever. So how do we move over to doing an exceptional consultation?
And a professional consultation. I missed the part of sitting down for the consultation. Do you recommend sitting on a stool during consultation? Absolutely.
Absolutely, Zoltan. We sure do.
Yeah. So sorry, we just went back to that. So completely threw me off.
Stop it. Keep asking questions though, because we do like to address them as they come up. But how do you take the old-fashioned, 5-minute consultation, what are we going to do, and move it into a higher art form that is truly going to earn us more money and change the level of our professionalism? Well, first of all, 5 minutes isn't going to cut it. If you are doing an hour's haircut or a 2-hour color haircut service, for an initial client, you must add 15 to 20 minutes onto your...
I believe 15 minutes for sure.
Yeah.
You need to add on to your initial consultation, your initial timing. So if it takes you 45 minutes for a haircut, then you're going to book out an hour. That 15 minutes is going to be invaluable in cementing your relationship with that client. Yeah,
because to go back is that if you can change the way your client sees you from just being, like a hair cutter or a colorist into a professional stylist, you are going to change the amount of money you earn working behind the chair.
Hear, hear.
Number 1, you must listen more than you speak.
And we're just going on observations, from having had a salon for many, many years, and Eileen being in and out of beauty salons every day, all day for years. We often see stylists and estheticians who actually do a lot more of the talking.
Exactly. In fact, they're far more interested in sharing their stories. Have you ever sat down and had a conversation with someone and you can see the look on their face? They're not listening to you. They can hardly wait to jump in with their own
to tell
story.
You what they think you should
Exactly. Well, you should do this. You should do that. Or they want to tell their story. They're not listening to your story. And that's the number one thing that we have to do, is we have to turn the tap off and turn the hearing on.
Yes. Listening is such a great skill. And I mean, we all could do better.
Yeah, and one of the things at the end of this presentation is we do have a consultation form that we often work with. And if anybody would like a copy of it, at the end of the presentation, if you send us an email, which we'll give you the email address later, we'll send you a copy of that consultation form.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's there for you. Because on that, you will see that we ask lots of open-ended questions.
Yes, and this is one of your favorites, Eileen. So
it is, because I really believe that asking yes and no answers doesn't give you any information. Did you wash your hair today? Yep. Nope. What does that tell you? Right?
Yeah. Would it not be better to say, for me, it would be better to say, how do you decide when to wash your hair? Like, what is it when it goes flat? What is it?
Yeah.
How do you decide that?
Yeah, exactly. So and then you stop and you listen to what the client has to say, because, perhaps they're going to tell you that, oh geez, I really only wash my hair once a week because I find it too long and heavy, because they're giving you information here. So we have to really listen to why they've told you this answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wash my hair twice a day because I find my scalp gets really oily.
Yeah. My
right?
hair gets flat.
Or my hair gets flat.
By the end of the day, my hair is flat to my head.
So that kind of information is invaluable. It's not just a tick in the box. It's like, okay, they've got oily scalp, their hair is oily. That's going to start changing. That's going to start you thinking about the type of products that are going to work best for your client. It's also perhaps going to help you in deciding the type of style that you're going to recommend for them.
Absolutely.
So you've got to ask all these questions in an open-ended way so that they're giving you information. Not a yes and no doesn't answer a question.
This is true. And speaking about that, next month we're going to do a scripting webinar where we will talk about some scripts and give you some really good language to use for open-ended questions.
Exactly. My favorite thing in the whole world, because and here's the other thing is that when you're asking an open-ended question, you're getting information from this person, and here's where your listening skills really pay off, because then you are going to paraphrase back. And what we mean by that is,
so Eileen, I believe I heard you say that your hair was oily. It gets really flat at the end of the day, and you're washing your hair almost every day. Am I correct?
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening, Catherine.
Okay, good. So, I will be able to help you make some suggestions for you as we go through the consultation.
Do you see? So Catherine made sure that she understood what I was saying about having to wash my hair too frequently. So all you have to do is just sort of feed back to the client what it is that they are telling you. Because in the end, you need to understand exactly what your customer wants.
Yeah, because if you don't understand when you take them back to the shampoo bowl, when you pick up a pair of shears, when you put that color on their head, again, we're going to go back to this is when the mistakes happen. And you're going to have an unhappy customer.
Exactly. And I do love this, because then all of a sudden now what you're doing is you're creating a team between yourself and your client. And believe me when I say this, that the number of stylists or estheticians out there that are doing an exceptional consultation are so rare that if you do this, I swear that you will never lack a client.
Well, I will tell you, I've had a lot of young stylists go through my salon, and the ones who have been the most successful have made great careers for themselves and made the most money have been the ones who have embraced the consultation model.
And as you can probably imagine, Catherine and I do seminars on consultations and all of these things. And I hate to tell you this, but we have lots of stylists who at the end of our presentation who say to us, oh, this wouldn't work in our salon.
No, we wouldn't have time.
Exactly. And I think you're going to kick yourself in the butt if you don't do this, because yes, it might take you 15 to 20 minutes longer in your service, but the amount of money that you will increase in doing this will more than make up for the time and effort that you put into your clients. Remember what Catherine said initially, is it's not how many clients are in your chair, it's what you do with them when they're there.
Absolutely.
Can't stress that enough.
So we're going to go through the next slide. We're going to go through consultation questions. Now, these are all on the handout that if you would like to have it at the end, we can definitely send it to you. So just, quick notes of
there's a reason that these things are really important, because it's going to make you more professional in determining for your client. You're going to come through this consultation process with your client and come to a conclusion together.
Absolutely.
And you get to be able to make professional recommendations.
And you want to look professional. So, have a clipboard, have it there. When a brand new client to the salon walks in, you're going to ask them to have a seat. Would they like a cup of tea? You're going to pass them the clipboard, ask them to fill it out for you. And then, and only then, can you bring them over to your chair. And then you're going to go through it with them. So all of these things, what is your personal style? Are you classic, modern, trendy, or natural? Now, this is important because what we observe and what they put down may be different.
Exactly. Like their idea of what a trendy look is completely different from what you're thinking, right?
Yeah. And professional style, are you in a corporate world or business casual? Are you a creative, or are you just strictly casual?
Exactly. And again, it is going to change your recommendation. If you've got somebody who is in yoga classes every single day or whatever, their hair needs are going to be completely different who's somebody who is in a courtroom presenting before a judge and a jury. So the recommendations you make are going to be different for the different types of styles that your client has.
And then what are their hair goals? Do they just want a subtle change yearly, or are they in that groove where they don't like a lot of change? Are they someone who would like to change every season? Are they here for a major change? Or are they somebody that, they want to change all the time? Like every day they don't go out the door looking the same.
In fact, if you read our newsletter today, the topic was really, where do our clients go? Well, the number one reason why clients leave is boredom.
So we must be changing or asking them if they would like to change. And I think I talk about this a lot because I had a client when I worked behind my chair. I had a client who I saw for years and years and years, and she was a teacher, very conservative. But I would, even though she came all the time, I would sit her down and say, Janice, is today the day that you're ready to make a change? And she'd go, oh no, Catherine, I think I just want the same. Okay. So, but I always asked her and I always made recommendations. Well, one day she almost blew me over. I said, Janice, is today the day you're ready to make a change? And she said, I think I am. You could have knocked me over with a feather. But, she stayed with me for years because I always asked her.
Well, and I think that's so interesting because I'm thinking of a girlfriend who was with a client with a stylist for a really, really long time. And finally she came to me, she says, I need a new stylist. And I said, well, I thought you loved Susie Q. And she said, oh, I do. But, she just does my hair the same way all the time. And I'm afraid to ask her to change it.
I know. And clients are like that. So it's our job as professionals to be suggesting and, and offering. So just think about that. That's why we asked that question about hair goals.
Yeah, exactly. Commitment to salon visits. This is really, really important because in the end, it comes down to the type of style that you're going to recommend for your client. If they're going to come in every 6 weeks, you know that you can offer them or suggest a higher maintenance type of style. But if they're only coming in 3 to 6 months or once a year, then you know that what you're going to recommend for them is going to be completely different, right? So it's very, very important that you understand what their commitment to salon visits is.
Yeah. And so this is a great one. How much time do you spend styling your hair at home?
This is hugely important, again, because we need to make sure that the style and treatment that we're recommending to our clients is going to fit into their lifestyle.
Because if there's somebody that says, oh, I just want to wash and go.
Yeah.
I have no time. I don't want to pick up a blow dryer. I don't fuss with my hair. Then you know where you have to go. If it's someone, that's a bit more high maintenance and they're, oh no, I will spend 40 minutes or 45 minutes, getting my hair just right.
Well, I'm going to laugh though, Kath, because I've been watching the new Netflix series, Grace and Frankie with Jane Fonda. And Jane Fonda, who, she's just do the woman's like 77 years
Mm-hmm.
old? But anyways, in the show, she's looking to go on a date. And she looks down at her watch. She says, oh my goodness, I've got a date like in 3 hours and I haven't even started to get ready.
Well, but this is it. I mean, people are so different. We have to ask these questions or it's just going to backfire on us.
Exactly.
You know? So again, versatility. Do they like to look the same every day? Are they conservative? You know, will they do something a little wilder on weekends, or will they just let their hair go on weekends? Are they open to new trends and change? Or are they those people that want to change it up constantly?
Yeah.
You have to know these things.
And every single client is different. But again, what they are saying to you is going to change the recommendations that you make to them.
And how do you style your hair?
Yep. Air dry, blow dry with a paddle brush, round brush, use flat iron, curling one. And one of the questions that I think is the most important question to ask is, how confident are you with your tools?
Yes. Because oftentimes, and I think this is a great thing to do, especially if you're changing up their hair, invite them to come in, bring the tools that they use, and you will give them a blow dry lesson.
Exactly. And again, what we're doing here is we are creating a professional stylist demeanor here. We are going to take your, what you do and take it to the next level. We want you to go beyond being just another service provider. We want to take you to the next level.
And here are two really important questions, and then I'll do a little bit about my belief around these questions. So one would be, what do you like about your hair? And the other is, what do you dislike about your hair? Now, when you are going over this question with your clients, if you are sitting on a stool in front of them, you cannot put your hands in their hair. And I believe that so many of us stand behind and as we're talking to them, we're putting our hands in their hair. But if you do that, that's a bad habit. Stop it. Go around to the front, sit on your stool, and ask them these questions. And as soon as you ask them, their hand will go to their hair.
Exactly. And they'll start saying, I've got this wave over my right ear.
Yeah. Or, in my case, it's when I go to anyone, it's first thing I do is at the top of my head. I like volume on the top of my head. And the other thing I do is I put my hands right in the side because I like my sides to be a little wider. If I had my hands in their hair, they wouldn't put their hands in their hair.
No, they would totally, so you wouldn't really know exactly what they're looking at, right?
You're looking for visual clues now. You're looking always for visual clues. As soon as you ask those questions, they're going to put their hand somewhere on their head.
You got it.
Which is, fascinating to me, but it works every time.
Yeah.
So, and what products are you currently using?
Yeah, this is not when you are going to be, selling products at this juncture of the service, but it's really important to know what they are currently using, because then you can do an assessment. Really, is what they're using really helping their hair, hurting their hair, good for their scalp, whatever it is, and as you go through your service, it's going to allow you to be able to make recommendations on the products based on what they're using. Now, I really believe is that we never, we never put down another competitive
that is so
professional product. Now, I think that retail products from the grocery store or the drugstore, they're they're up for criticism every time.
But again, rather than criticizing, educate your client.
Exactly. Because you don't want your client to ever think, oh, gee, I made a stupid mistake buying that product. We want to encourage them, though, to move into, how to do their hair properly. So there's a way to talk about products. And actually, in next month when we do scripting, we can really, really talk about that, because it's really important to understand how to use your language in moving that forward.
Absolutely. So, and this is one of your...
This is my pet. What is your beauty budget? I think that we are all so afraid of money and asking questions that we ignore the most important content of any consultation is, what are you willing to spend on your beauty budget? And again, if you tie it in with the question on the last page too, is the commitment to salon visits, you'll find that they're connected, right? But it's really important to know and understand, because if someone tells you, oh gosh, I probably haven't thought about it, but I think that if I was going to spend $100 a month, you know right off the bat then that your client is looking at roughly $1,200 for the year. So it helps you in assessing the type of style, the type of color, everything to them. Is it, if how many visits a year are they going to have to do? How are you going to fit your salon visits into their beauty budget? Perhaps they're going to say, well, gee, I'm lucky if I spend $300 a year. Again, it's going to tell you the type of what you're going to do for that client. It is so important to ask them. Because you can't give them a multi-dimensional color that is going to take a lot of upkeep if you know that they're only willing to spend $300. Exactly. That's just not feasible. Yeah. So again, and there are ways to ask, because it's, I just really want to understand what your budget is like. So when I make a recommendation, I can take that into consideration, and we can look at, maybe one time we'll do color, highlight, and cut. And the next time we'll only need to do root touch up and cut. So it is so easy. It says, well, together, by understanding how much, you're planning to spend on your beauty this year, we can determine exactly what's right for you. And again, if you make yourself now into a team player, you're working together with your client to create a plan. Yeah. And believe me, would your client go anywhere else when you've got this plan for them? Well, I went to see a naturopath the other day, and after filling in an extensive consultation form, we sat down together, and she laid out a plan for me of what they were going to do. And truly, am I going to follow through? Yes. And did I tell her I have a budget for this? Yes, I did. So we're going to work within that budget. Right. Because, if you've only got, $50 a month to spend on supplements or whatever, it's going to change what she recommends to you. And it's the same thing that's true. People, we are a professional organization, and we have to change up how we're doing our business. So I'm going to throw a question out. Please, if you have the ability, please answer this and be honest. How many of you do a consultation with a clipboard and a consultation form? Consistently. Consistently. I'm talking consistently. Mm-hmm. And we are, Liz, thank you for being honest. Liz says nope. Ellie says never. Well, we challenge you girls. And then honestly, if you would send us a note, really want you to try this out. And honestly, all of you. And we'll talk about coming clients, existing clients, and how to handle a consultation with them. And Tony says, only after I've attended one of these classes. Remember, Tony, what I said, inconsistency is the enemy of quality. It takes time to get into the habit. But again, if you have things set up in the morning when you go in and you have a whole stack of consultation forms on your clipboard, and you, with any new client, go through this process, I guarantee you that you are going to have better retention and make more money. Exactly. Here's the thing too, is that if you're regularly seeing between 5 and 8 clients a day, and if you take a look at your average ticket price and you're seeing 5 to 8 clients a day, imagine all of a sudden now you go, say, from 4 to 6 clients a day. You're spending extra time with each of these clients, but they're spending a lot more money with you. What does this say? Doesn't this take you to a different level? Doesn't this take you to a different type of relationship that you've got with your client? It is amazing. And we know stylists who do incredible consultations. Their average ticket price is over $400. So tell me, they don't need to see 8 clients a day. No, they definitely don't. But, our one friend that we're thinking of has elevated this to an art form. And you can too. Yeah, that's how she does it. So these are the
questions that we think are really critical to ask any new client. And we'll go on to the next slide, which we call the OACT. You're O-acting.
Are you O-acting out?
Yeah, we're acting out here. So basically, it's just summing up everything we talked about. So it's observation, analysis, conclusion, and then the treatment. So observation, when your client walks through the door, what's the first thing you're going to observe about them?
Obviously their appearance. You know, you're gonna, I hate to say it, I mean, we're all guilty of it, but we'll make an assessment. We'll know right off the bat whether it's a business type or, you know, a yoga aficionado or whatever. It's fairly obvious, but you want to take note of your observation. Keep it in the back of your head, right?
Totally. And then analysis, what does that look like? Well, we're going to look at their face shape. We're going to look at their hair texture condition. We're going to look at their scalp condition, any growth patterns in the hair, because you don't want to pick up a pair of shears if you have somebody with a double crown and you haven't even noticed.
Yes. And I think the face shape one is probably the biggest mistake that so many stylists that stylists make is really recommending a style that doesn't suit the shape of the face of the client that's sitting there. So it's really, really important and you can even have within your consultation, you know, like a face shape form. So just to give yourself a reminder of, yes, okay, that means that they have an oval face. That means that certain cuts and points are going to look better on this face than whatever, you know. And,
you know, for round faces, and when I went to a stylist years ago and he talked about this, is when somebody comes in to see him with a round face and they want a blunt cut, he always suggests a slightly asymmetrical look because it will lengthen the face.
Right.
If it's completely symmetrical and it hits in the wrong spot, it will make their face look bigger.
Right.
And the other thing that I think is really critical, because when we look at the face shape, we can talk to them then about how we can correct that with color.
Exactly. I mean, and that just gets me so excited because I really, of course, believe that color changes everything. Yeah. Color makes, you know, with the right color placement, you can make people look like they've got more volume in their hair. I mean, just don't get me started.
And one of my favorites is, you know, it's if somebody has a little bit of a rounder face, which actually is one of the most common face shapes, is if you just put all the way around a fringe of darker color, it will slim their face.
Yeah.
You know, you can change things just by making these analysis right in the beginning and, you know, make notes on your form.
Yes. Because then you come to your conclusion and your recommendation. So, you know, Catherine, after everything that we've talked about today, here's a couple recommendations that I would like to make in our service today. Right?
Yeah.
So, and then you're going to make this, you know, based on what you've told me, based on your lifestyle, based on your budget. Here's what I think we should do.
Yeah.
And this is when the royal we, I think, is really important, is because now you're a team, right? It's not just, I want to do this. It's like, this is how I feel we should move forward, because part of your recommendation is also going to be about their future visits. So already, you see, you're putting a fence around your clients, right? So part of it is, it's just so important.
Yeah. And you don't get any of these points when you just stand behind somebody and say, so what are we doing today?
Yeah. Or my other favorite consultation is, hey, I'll see you at the shampoo bowl.
Oh, never, ever, ever, ever do that. That is just not cool.
No, but unfortunately, we see it.
So then, you know, when you come to treatment, and as Eileen said, you and your client then will reach an agreement before you move forward. So we're both in agreement that this is what we're going to look at today. So we're going to give you an asymmetrical blunt cut. We are going to
do an undercolor.
Do an undercolor, a fringe of darker and with lighter on the on the rest of your hair. Are you good with that? So we agree that that's what we're going to do.
Because remember, when you go back to the why, we want to manage their expectations, and we want to make sure that our clients feel heard. So all of these things are in a cycle, right? So you're coming back to reaffirm exactly what it is that the client is, what the client wants.
Absolutely.
Oh, never mind. I'll come back to that later.
So moving on. So let's just pretend we've done our phenomenal consultation. We have nailed it, and we are confident going into the service that we are.
Oh, that was what I forgot.
Oh, she almost forgot.
I did, because my peeves. I've sold color for years into salons, and I think one of the worst things that we can do for a client is to use the swatch book.
Oh, yes. Don't bring that darn swatch book out.
Yes.
Please.
Slap the wrist.
Yeah. You know what? As a consultant, training salons for years and years and years, I always recommended a lookbook.
Exactly.
Because a picture,
worth 1,000
it's
years.
worth 1,000 words, really, because, you know, clients sometimes don't really understand what they're actually asking for. And, you know, a lot of people will say, oh, no, I don't want to be golden blonde. I want to be ash.
Yeah.
Ash blonde. So then you bring out a lookbook with different colors in it. And what do they pick out?
Gold.
They pick out a golden blonde.
Their idea of ash is completely different to ours. Like even this lady in this chair here, she might say, you know, oh, my hair is white, right? But really, it's not. It's a blend, right? So the swatch book just doesn't cut it.
Oh, no, not at all. So make yourself a lookbook. You know, it's okay. Cut out some celebrity pictures. You know, different colors, different styles, but it's your book.
Yes.
You know, it's not, you're not dragging out the swatch book, because the clients really don't know what that all means. They can see colors on there, but we're going to mix colors. We're telling them we're mix masters.
Yes. You know, and I always think, you know, one of the things that I've seen over the years is that, you know, the color that you put on every 6 weeks, if you've got a client coming in every 6 weeks, the color you put on is different from the color that they walked into the salon with, because the color that you put on 6 weeks ago has faded off. Yeah. And, you know, I always think that, you know, I hear stylists panicking sometimes because they don't have the, you know, the exact formula that they used the last time. And I think that's the worst thing that we can do, is have the exact formula every single time.
Well, I think you need to know what you did last time, but then you can adjust it. And one of the best things that we ever did as a salon was put our color bar out in the open.
Yes.
So we mix color out in the open. And I'll tell you, everybody says, oh my, we didn't realize it was as complicated that you put as many different colors in.
Yeah, can you do that in a drugstore? I don't think so.
And that is honestly our major competition. So, and they're getting better and better at it. So we need to be on this. We need to be on this consultation piece so that we are the professionals.
You got it. And here's where, oh, by the way, all of this follow-up you do with the client in the chair before you take off their cape. Because once you take off the cape, the client has already left you mentally. They're already moving on. But as long as the cape is around their body, they are still your client.
Yeah, they're still going to sit there. And I have proven this a number of times, you know, with skeptical stylists. And, you know, I said, okay, let's work on this. So one of the clients, I said, let's try this with your client. Leave the cape on, walk away at the end of the service, and let's see if she moves. Didn't move. Client sat there. I said, as soon as you take that cape off, their foot is touching the ground.
Exactly. They think it's time to move on. So do your follow-up with the cape still on. You're going to be blown away, and it's a psychological thing, but you're going to be blown away by it.
Yeah.
Here's also where you go over your product recommendations. So again, you want to make sure, if perhaps the client has even said, oh, I'm using a competitive product, just say, you're already using a great shampoo. And when you have finished using that product, I'd really like to move you into Bougie Bougie or whatever it is that you're using,
right.
Because I believe that it will, really complement what we're doing for your hair here. By the time, I'd really like to see you go home with whatever, because I feel it's a great foundation product we created for you today. So tell them what it is that you need to do. Be honest, be professional.
No. And I just want to say, if you will get people that will not take your products, right? Oh no, I'll use up what I have lots at home. I'm going to use what and so I just always say, I'm always really nice and just put a hand on their shoulder and go, oh, that's no problem. That's great. But just know, if your hairstyle isn't working for you, it's the products that you're using. Come on back and I can set you up with the products that we have recommended for you today. Boom.
Boom. Exactly. And, I have to tell you, because, Kath and I also have another side business dealing with doing trichology, and which is all about the consultation. I mean, the consultation is everything.
Critical.
And when we first opened, and I was behind the desk one day, and the trichologist brings up 5 products and puts it on the desk to check out for the client. And I looked up and I said, well, which product would the client like? And she looks at me and she says, oh no, the client's taking them all.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so used to trying, it's how hard it is to get a shampoo bottle into a client's hand, that I was just absolutely, Kath and I killed ourselves laughing afterwards because of the look on my face.
Yeah. But the one thing I will say about that is, in trichology, it's all about the science of the scalp, and it's a 30-minute consultation.
Yes, because you're establishing a rapport and a relationship with this person. And that's why we're so passionate about this, because we can see what the consultation does. And I think it's something that we've been ignoring for far too long. The last item on this is the rebook your next visit, because if you've done your consultation correctly, right, you have already established what their future is with you.
Absolutely. If if they're a 6-week client, so they have a high maintenance hairstyle or a high maintenance color. So you can say, in order to keep this looking the way it is right now, I will need to see you again in 5 weeks. Does this day work for you 5 weeks from now?
There you go.
And the same time, would that be fine?
Yeah. And here's the other thing is that, in following up with our consultation, you suggested that you might do this. So I'm going to suggest that on your next visit, we add this, we do this, we make that.
Suggestions.
Make the suggestions so that you're wrapping up their hair future here. Yeah. And they will not, honestly, they won't go anywhere else.
And really go back to reaffirming your goals for the visit. Don't be afraid to ask them. Now, we talked about all these different services. We talked about your goals at the beginning for your consultation. Are you happy? Do you feel that we have met the goals that we set?
Because you want that feedback. You want to know, we've done all this work. We want to know that our client is going to be a raving fan.
And that's what we're creating with these great consultations. You don't want merely satisfied clients. You want raving fans. We had a lady in our trichology center the other day. This lady is a raving fan.
Oh,
she loves us.
Yeah. And
it's only because great consultation, willing to go the extra mile,
and the follow-up.
And the follow-up.
Making sure that, at the end of her visit, that we had done everything that we said we were going to do. Yeah. It was truly, it works, you guys. It absolutely works.
And
Nefertiti, we are going to give you, we'll give you some information on how to get these questions. Yeah. And well, thank you, Linda. That's awesome. And going actually into the next slide, Kath, it does have our email address. So
absolutely,
if you send us a email to info@theprofitablesalonowner.com, we will have your, of course, return email address, and we will send you a copy of this consultation questionnaire. And then I would suggest you put your own heading on it, put it into your own words, use the information on it, change it however you like. But I do have something that I'd like to ask everybody today, is because you and I feel so strongly about this. We would like to hear back from you after you've done this for the first time. We want to know how you made out. We want to know how it made you feel. And, you know, we just want your feedback, okay?
Yeah, and remember, it's like riding a bicycle. You know, when you get on to try and ride a two-wheel bicycle at first, it's a little difficult.
You need those training wheels.
But every time you do it after that, guess what? It's going to get easier. And it's repetition, repetition, repetition. And quickly, before we go, let's talk about existing clients.
Yeah. Oh, yes, because can't leave without that.
No, we have 5
How do you do
left.
a consultation with an existing client? Well, the same thing is of course, we're not going to go over the whole initial consultation again, but we do want to know a couple things when they come back for their second visit, and for every visit after that. Is first of all, we gave you a new style and a new color last time you were in. Tell me how you're making out with it.
Yep.
How did you like the products that we recommended for you? Are you managing your style correctly? Yep. If there is anything that we could change from what we did last time, what would it be?
What would it be? And where do you do that? You take them over to your chair. You sit them down. You don't do it standing up, and you don't do it sitting in the sink.
No.
At the back bar. At the back bar.
You do it in the chair. Again, you are going to be a professional consultation, and you are going to do the same follow-up. So again, we're going to manage their expectations, and we are going to reaffirm at the end of the visit that, again, we have done what they expected us to do that visit. And we are also, again, going to make sure that we are already agreed on what we're going to do in their next visit.
So don't forget them, because they are our bread and butter. And as we stated earlier, clients leave most of the time because they're bored.
Yeah. Do not let boredom enter into any category.
And if they say no every single time, it's okay. It's our job to keep suggesting.
Exactly. Exactly. So keep a record. I'm a little bit old fashioned. I still really like a file folder, because I think it gives that look of the professional, you know, like here's a file folder with my name on it. Right.
And you can also make notes on it, because we can't remember everything. No, but we make little notes, personal notes about what they're doing.
Yeah. And Vagaro's got a great place on your client file though to put these notes. So, you know, if you're a real techie and you really like to do that, put it in their client file, right? Write it on the computer. Keep an ongoing list of each and every client of what's going on. Yeah. Okay. And
remember that this has been recorded and will be put up in the archives on Vagaro. So you will be able to, if you missed any of it or you would like to listen to it again, you will be able to do that on Vagaro. So thank you everyone for attending, and I hope everyone got at least one nugget out of this. If you didn't get at least one nugget out of this, there is something wrong.
Yeah. Oh, and maybe better give us some feedback then. Yeah. Yeah. We'd like to reaffirm that you got the message.
And we really like feedback. So if you have feedback, there is a space on any meeting to be able to leave feedback for us. And next month we will be doing scripting. So
my favorite thing, because
yes, it is.
Is it because I love to talk?
Yes, it is.
Or is it because I love to talk?
You like language.
So well, I love language, everybody.
Okay.
Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for being with us today.
Yeah, thank you for taking time.
Don't be strangers. Send us notes, okay? Take care.
Take care. Have a good one.